Okay, so hello to all audience of Metal Zone radio show. We are in Nantes at Le Ferrailleur, very well-known place in Nantes, and we've got the huge pleasure to be with Pedro from a band coming from Brazil, Royal Rage. So Pedro, hello, and thanks for taking time to answer some questions for Metal Zone Oxygène Radio. Can you first introduce to our audience?
Sure thing, sure can. First of all, thank you very much for inviting us, for inviting me to this interview. We are from Brazil. We come from the very south of Brazil, a city called Curitiba. Many of you probably know the city of São Paulo. Yeah, the state of São Paulo is right, my state is right underneath São Paulo, and we live in the capital. But it's not a very known town abroad, but it's a very metal town.
This is the main thing. Important, very metal rock town. So, 15 shows crossing 6 countries in Europe and UK, too, for the Motocultor Across Europe Tour 2024. How did you end up to get on this bill?
Okay. We got in touch with Hank, thanks to a friend of ours called Sergio from the band Semblant. And they toured Europe with Hank a couple times, I guess. They're going to tour again in January or February, I'm not sure. But Sergio got me in touch with Hank, and we started talking, and he offered us a spot on this tour. And it was the very first tour that we ever made. And, we were, uncertain with if we really had what it takes to do the tour. It was a first experience for us. And in the beginning, we were kind of frightened. I must confess, it is intimidating to play to people across the Atlantic. But I have to say, we evolved. We evolved a lot with the gigs, and the crowd was really, really receptive. Yeah. They were amazing, especially in France. Paris was by far the best gig we had.
Okay. Is it the first time you're coming to play in France with a band?
Yes, it's the first time we're coming to play in France. It's the first time that we are ever doing a concert outside Brazil, actually. So yeah, it's a pretty huge thing for us.
A premiere. Okay. So for the people who are not familiar with the Royal Rage, can you do a brief history of the genesis of the band?
Okay. Well, Royal Rage started as a school band, and we were doing covers of Black Sabbath and Black Label Society, this kind of things. But you know, school bands they end and they come back, and well, eventually we started to writing some songs and got serious. But it was just around 2017 that things really got serious. But unfortunately, as we were getting ready to get on studio, our former drummer, he got hit by a truck. Yeah, almost died. It was a horrible 1 year of recovery, and he almost got his arm severed. It was really hard, and that had a major impact on our album. Not just the delay, but also the lyrics that we end up writing. So in 2018, we ended up releasing the first album called Conquer, and I say it's a pretty heavy album, not just because of the songs, but because of the content of it. Our former drummer wrote a lot of lyrics about the time that he spent in coma, his life and death experience, and also I just had experienced the loss of my parents. So yeah, it's a heavy album, and after that we always had a saying in our rehearsals that were something like that: our rehearsal needs to be better than the latest one we had, and needs to be worse than the next one. So in the sense that we need to evolve continuously. And that's why we decided to name the second album Evolve, because we felt like it was a major leap from the first one to the second. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you. You were talking about the latest album, the second one, Evolved, that you released in June of this year through Sleep Trick Records. Can you tell us more about it regarding to the lyrical theme you took of it? So, but the conception the recording process? How do you work together when you start the composition of a new album?
All right, so the second album evolved. The concept of it pretty much works around the dystopian future, like machines take over, the dark side of it. At the time I was writing the lyrics, I was really into that Netflix series Black Mirror, and I thought it was very interesting how they make a deep dive into some dark aspects of the technology evolution. So it's not a new theme. Like a lot of bands have written about that, but I felt like was a good team to write about it, and a nice team to make cover artwork, and it just made sense to me. Of course, not all the album has songs about technology evolution to a dark path. We have a song called Lampião that tells the story of a Brazilian outlaw from back in the 60s, if I remember correctly. And but yeah, this was the main thing that rounded around the second album.
Okay, cool. Thank you for these precisions. So, second album is available. Evolve. Don't hesitate to buy it. Is there a band that everyone agrees on and that brings you all together in Royal Rage?
No. No. Each of the band members had a very different taste in music. I guess that, for instance, Thiago is a very big fan of Meshuggah and Gojira. Yeah, he's he's a very precise drummer, and he likes to learn complex stuff, so it makes sense. Saul is a more of a guitar virtuosos guy. He is really into Guns N' Roses, and Ayrton is more of a prog guy. So we don't have that one band that brings us together in common. I guess that's part of our how do you say, our personality, our musical personality. I'm the thrash metal guy. I must say I got into thrash metal when I was 13. That's when I came across with Overkill and later on Exodus, and those are my two favorite thrash metal bands.
I agree with you because thrash metal forever. Okay, so you are a young band because you were formed in 2010. But what is your feeling and view on the evolution and the way we consume music nowadays and for many years now, particularly with the development of social networks and music platforms? What is your opinion about that?
That's a big question. A big question and controversial one, I must say, because I remember that I'm not that old, but I still got that period of time that you used to get around with your friends at home and get the K7 tapes to record the CDs that someone just got at a brand new. And although we are a metal town, CDs were kind of expensive back in the day, so not everybody had money to get it. So K7 tapes to record it all. And now all of a sudden we have Spotify that it's so easy for you to access music all across the globe. I remember that we used to have a website in Brazil that we used to download the CDs from bands that we couldn't access, bands that I would never even see a physical CD. We were downloading it and getting to know that. So it was kind of a long process for you to get to know a new band, and now it's so easy due to Spotify and Spotify playlists. But at the same time, it's a more predatory market, I must say, because there are a lot of new bands coming. Every day there's a new release, and it's hard for you to stand out among them. So at the same time that it's easier for you to access stuff nowadays, it's harder for you to stand out. Musicians nowadays, they have to be also content creators, which I think it's not that cool. I wanted to focus on music, but now I need to focus in 11 or 12 different areas for the band to stand out. It's a more competitive market, but I guess that's how how to say, it's better for the music evolution. Not all bands will stand out. You know, after all, you need to make good music, but you also need to do a good publicity for your music to stand out. I guess. Well, did I answer the question?
Yeah, okay. Very well, very well. I'm always interesting to have opinion with because this is an evolution. There is positive and negative side of it, but you don't have the choice. We don't have the choice now because it's like that. So if you want to follow, you follow. If you don't want to follow the trend, the evolution, you stay. Okay. So as we all know, the world crossed difficult period with the COVID lockdown for almost 2 years. The war in Ukraine since February 2022, the conflict in Palestine since October 2023. So, yeah, it's difficult nowadays. So what are your feelings about the instability of the world and the human species in general?
I guess the thought that crosses my mind all the time is we got years of evolution to come back to solving problems with war. Like it's so stupid to see how we're going full cycle again. You know, we could spend hours talking about the crisis and how human evolution is leading us to our end, but it just saddens me, really, because you know, we have resources and we have enough education nowadays, enough research nowadays to solve these problems in a civilized way. However, we always tend to go back to how I used to say, we go back to monkey. Yeah, sticks and stones, and that's how we're gonna solve problems. It's too bad, but I guess it's human nature.
Thank you for answer. What do you do? What do you like to do? Sorry, next to the music, because I think you don't make a living of the band. It's difficult, of course. So what do you do next to music?
All right. Well, prior to this, I was working in construction with structural projects in Brazil. But then I decided to quit that and open a studio. So yeah, in a certain way, I made a living out of music. And well, next to that, I guess everything art related is my stuff. You know, although I'm good with numbers and I've been working with numbers for a long time, art, it doesn't matter if it's painting, reading, or poetry. Really, art is what gets me moving. And well, I gotta say, I tried to get rid of music a few years ago. I was trying to think about my career, but music just it's how do I say? How I used to say, you don't choose music. Music chooses you. And yeah, I had to go back because I was going insane without it.
Okay. So flashback to when you were a child or teenager. Can you tell us about the musical environment you grew up, and maybe did it in a way affect the music you are playing today with Royal Rage?
Okay. So my father was a musician, not a professional musician, but he used to play the acoustic guitar and sing. He was really into bossa nova, MPB, and this kind of Brazilian rhythms. And every time we had a barbecue or a meeting in our house, there would be music or someone playing the guitar. And when I got to learn how to play guitar, I wanted to play rock, and at these meetings I was not allowed. I had to learn. I had to learn a few songs of the Brazilian genres. And at first I didn't really enjoy it, but now it's one of the main genres that I listen to in my house, because when you're building out your musical personality, if you just listen to the same genre over and over again, you ended up being a copy. And we find that doing this kind of mixture with the Brazilian genres is one of the things that makes us stand out. It catches someone's ear off guard, you know. We have one of the songs that it's a mixture of baião, which is a genre, a typical genre from the north of Brazil. And whenever people from the north hear it, they usually think that it's a Brazilian band from the north.
Okay.
When they find out that we're from the south, they say, "How the hell are these guys doing this?" Like, and it's not bad, you know. And we find it very interesting. It's very challenging sometimes, and it's good for you to get out of your comfort zone, learn a new genre every now and then. Don't listen just to metal. You gotta learn new genres, okay?
Do you remember the first piece of rock or metal music that came to your ears?
Yes. Yes, I do remember that crystal clear. I was 6 years old, and my father took me to a mall and gave me $10. He said, "You can buy whatever you want at a bookstore." And at the time, bookstores had CDs departments. So I was going through some CDs. I didn't really know what I was looking for. But ever since I was really young, my favorite color was green. And I came across this green album, a cover, all green, with a monster chained up and screaming. And I said, "Yeah, this is the one album that I'm gonna get." I didn't even know how to pronounce the name of the band at the time. I got to my dad and said, "This is what I'm buying." He said, "What the hell? Do you even know this band?" I said, "Of course I know. This band is Iroma Iden." It was Iron Maiden. But, you know, I didn't even know the band. And I got the CD. I was so excited to hear, and I had no idea what was waiting for me. And my father said, "Okay, you got to play it at your stereo in your room. We're not going to listen to it in the car." So I was holding the CD in my hand, and when I got home, I played it. The first song was "Where He Goes There," and with the drum fills, it was like a punch to my face. That moment, I knew my life had changed. You know, from that moment on, I knew I was going to be a rock musician.
Cool. That's fucking cool. Okay, so what is the future for Royal Rage after this tour? Because you are in Nantes today, and last show tomorrow at the Black Lab in the north of France. So what is the future after this tour?
Right. The future after the tour. We still have some promotion to do regarding the album. We recorded a video clip, but we haven't released it yet. We are still planning on how to do that the proper way. And we feel like we need to do a video clip about the Lampion song, but we want to do it the proper way. A little promotion still needs to be developed regarding the album. And I don't know, I guess we're going to write the third album. It took us quite a while for the first to the second. I don't want to take that long again. I'm excited about the tour, and we have a lot of fun stories to share, you know, and a lot of subjects to write about. So, I guess you can wait for a third album very soon.
Okay, cool. Okay, thank you very much, Pedro. Did you have anything else you'd like to mention or promote? Because we arrive at the end of this interview.
So thank you very much once again for having me here. Please, if you do enjoy the band, do follow us and subscribe and send a message. We love to hear where you're from and which song got you into Royal Rage. All right, and if you got any pictures of any of the gigs, please send us. We'd love to share that. And if you are around Nantes or Lille, we would love to meet you. Although the gig today is sold out, but maybe tomorrow. All right. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you very much. It was Pedro from Royal Rage coming from Brazil in Metal Zone Oxygène Radio. For the show tonight at Nantes in Le Ferrailleur. Wish you a lot of good things for you, for the bands, for your families, for your friends. And take care, have fun, and a lot of success you deserved. So thank you. Have a good show. See you soon on the road.